and welcome to the Nutrition by Samantha podcast. I'm your host, Samantha, nutritionist who is on a mission to cut through the nutrition confusion and help you become the healthiest version of you. In this podcast, you'll find expert advice on all things binge and emotional eating, sustainable fat loss, sports nutrition, and all things in between. I hope you leave each episode inspired and empowered to make smarter eating choices. Now, let's get into the episode. Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Nutrition by Samantha podcast. I'm so happy you are here today. I'm very much looking forward to this episode, talking about our mindset around eating and how to change your mindset so that you are in a more positive state and you are able to achieve your goals. Because mindset is just huge. And if you don't have the right mindset, it's going to be so hard to achieve your goals. But first, I just wanted to remind you about my free masterclass I am hosting on Monday, the 21st of November at 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So in this masterclass, we'll be going through the main struggles I see people facing on their weight loss journey, the main mistakes that they're making, and how to make sure you're not making these same mistakes too. We'll go through how to make sure we're not binge and emotional eating and just seeing the results that we're after as well. So if this is something that you feel like you need, it is free, so I don't see why you would not want it. But come to the masterclass on Monday. I'll leave the link in the show notes so you can click the link, sign up, it'll take you to the Facebook group, and that's where the live will be held. So I hope to see you in there. A little bit about my week. What did I do this week? Oh my God, I can't even remember, but I had a good week. It's been nice. The weather was nice and then it's not nice, and now half of the bloody town's flooded, but that's okay. It's fine. Finally got out and walked Ava today after like days of rain. She was so salty today because she didn't get walked. So I just took her for a walk before, made myself a coffee. So I am pinging for this podcast. I wanted to talk about my food recommendation first. So it's an ice cream, and oh my God, it is so flipping good. It's new at Woolworths and they're called Dixie Cups. So do you remember when you were a kid and you would go to the milk bar and you'd get those little cups of vanilla ice cream and they come with the the wooden spoon, and all you taste is like that wooden gross taste? So it's that ice cream. It doesn't come with the wooden spoon. Just use your own spoon, obviously. But it tastes so good. It's a little cup of ice cream for under 100 calories. It's 95 calories per cup, which is amazing, perfect for your fat loss goals, but also hitting that sweet tooth. So do recommend it. It's in I think it's Peter's brand. It's called Peter's Dixie Ice Cream, and it's in a blue packet. So have a look out for that at Woolies, and do recommend. All right, let's get into the episode. So we need to have a positive mindset if we want to succeed on our weight loss journey. If your mindset is so negative, you are not going to see the results or get to your goals, because you are constantly feeding yourself with negative self-talk and negative thoughts. So we need a strong positive mindset to make sure we're going to continue to see results. So here I'm going to give you some tips, not so much about, goal setting and all that stuff, but really about self-talk and what you're saying to yourself and how that can be affecting your weight loss goals. So the first tip I have is stop looking for reasons to prove your point. It's not going to help you. So stop looking for reasons like to say, see, I can't stick to anything. See, I have such a sweet tooth. See, my body just doesn't want to lose weight. If you're saying this to yourself all the time, of course it's going to be true. You're telling yourself this, so it's inevitably going to be true. If you're saying you can't stick to anything, you're not going to stick to anything. But if you're saying I can stick to something, I can stick to a healthy, well-balanced diet, you're going to stick to a healthy, well-balanced diet. Yeah, you may have slip-ups here and there, but overall you're going to be sticking to it and you're going to continue to succeed. If you continue to tell yourself, I have such a sweet tooth, I can't handle my cravings, you're going to continue to have cravings. You're going to continue to have such a sweet tooth that you can't shake these cravings, because you keep telling yourself that you have these cravings and you keep telling yourself that you do have a sweet tooth. So instead, tell yourself, I enjoy sweets in moderation. I like to have sweets here and there, but it doesn't really control my life anymore. Just tell yourself that. Even if you don't believe it, just tell yourself that over and over, and eventually subconsciously it'll rewire your brain. And stop saying, see, my body just doesn't want to lose weight. It's just so hard for me to lose weight. Because you telling yourself that is making it harder for you to lose weight. And also, if your weight does go up 1 week, doesn't mean it's hard for you to lose weight. It's just part of the fluctuations of a weight loss program or diet that you're following, that your weight will fluctuate. But over time, it will be trending downwards, even if there are little spikes. It goes up and down, will go down. But if you're telling yourself, my body just doesn't lose weight, you're just going to make it so much harder for yourself. It's going to make yourself harder to stick to it, harder to continue going even when you're not seeing results, because you're just telling yourself, my body just doesn't lose weight. Because if you're telling yourself that, it's almost like, what's the point in even doing it at the same time if you're telling yourself it doesn't lose weight? So I wanted to give you a little example of how I have used this in my life. So back in the day, many, many moons ago, not that many moons ago, I'm not that old, but like early 20s, I went vegan. And I'm not telling anyone to go vegan here, by the way. I just want you to listen to this example of my self-talk to myself. So when I went vegan, I was pretty much telling myself, I don't eat that. I don't eat chicken. I don't eat red meat. I don't eat dairy. I don't eat eggs. And I didn't eat it. But if I was constantly saying, oh, I can't eat eggs. Oh, I can't eat chicken. I'm vegan. Oh, I can't eat this. It's going to make it a whole lot harder. But if you're telling yourself, oh, I don't eat this, or I don't do that, it's just not what I do, it's going to be a lot more easier because you're telling yourself, this is not what I do. So if you're, for an example, going out for dinner with friends and they're ordering, I don't know, food that you don't want to eat, or you know is not going to fuel your results, by saying, oh, I can't eat that, it's not on my diet plan, or I can't eat that, I'm not going to be able to lose weight. Tell yourself, oh, I don't eat like that, that's not the way I eat anymore. And just be confident with that and saying that. It makes it a lot easier to stick to things when you're just telling yourself, I don't do that. That's not what I do. Makes it a whole lot easier, I promise. Because when I first went vegan, I was like, oh, I can't eat chicken, that's not vegan. Oh, I can't eat that, that's not vegan. But I changed my mindset to say, I don't eat chicken. I don't eat that. And I was very confident in saying that, so that when people would pressure me to be like, just have a little bite of this and have a little bite of that, and I didn't want to eat it, I just was very confident and I would say, I don't eat that. And that was it. If you are even going out to a friend's house or to your parents' house or whatever it is, and they're handing out chocolates or have like a platter and you don't want to eat it, just say, I don't eat that. I don't want to have it. And just be confident rather than saying, I can't have it. So it's a bit of a mindset change and the way you're talking to yourself to help your brain rewire itself. The next tip I have is to stop shaming yourself. Stop saying things like, I'm so unhealthy, I'm so unfit, I look disgusting, no one will love me at this weight, I'm so not confident. Because this is doing two things. Number one, when you're shaming yourself and telling yourself all these horrible things, guess what's most likely going to happen? You're most likely going to go and overeat or binge because you're just talking to yourself so negatively. It's like when you go to the doctors and they're like, you need to lose weight, you have high blood pressure, you got high cholesterol, you got to start dropping weight, eating less, exercising more. And they're almost like shaming you about your weight. And then what ends up happening, you end up going home and you end up eating because they make you feel like shit. I hear this so often with people that go to the doctors and they come home feeling worse than when they got there. The second thing that will happen is you are feeding this belief that you are unhealthy and you are unfit and you are disgusting, which you are not. Okay? So stop talking to yourself like that. Instead, say things like, I'm healthy, I eat well, I move my body in a way that feels good to me, I look good, I feel confident. And I know saying that stuff to yourself when you don't feel it is going to be really, really hard. But just keep saying it to yourself, even though you don't feel it. Over time, you will start to believe it. And when you start to believe it, your habits will change because you're believing that you're healthy. So you're going to start eating healthy. You believe that you're fit. So you're going to start moving yourself in a way that makes you feel good. So you really need to change that talk to yourself instead of shaming yourself. Say things to yourself that are positive and that are going to help you achieve your goals. I don't know if anyone's heard of EFT tapping, or EF tapping, I think it's called. But what it is pretty much tapping into the subconscious mind and telling yourself things so that eventually over time you start to believe it and it starts to become part of your conscious mind. Now, I've done it before to help build confidence, and every single day I did this EFT tapping and saying these same things to myself as I'm doing this tapping. And over time, I did it twice a day for about 2 weeks. Over time, I actually started believing what I was saying. And the first time I did it, I was like almost like crying to myself because I just didn't believe what I was telling myself. But over time, I started to believe it and I started to feel better as well. And I really am thinking of doing my own EFT tapping video and like mantras that you sort of say to yourself and giving it to you guys so that you can help rewire your brain. And it is really hard to do at the start because you don't believe it whatsoever. But over time, you start to believe it once you start continuing to say it and say it and say it. And there's actually been studies to show that EFT tapping does help with rewiring your brain, and it has helped people lose weight. So that's my next tip. My next one is to stop looking at how far from your goal you are and start making small achievable goals. So if you're like, oh my God, I still have 30 kilos to lose, this is going to take me forever. It's going to take you forever then. So rather than looking at it as a big goal that you need to achieve, start looking at the small achievable goals instead. So maybe something you can tell yourself is, okay, by the end of the week, I want to lose 500 grams. Then the next week, at the end of the week, I want to get to whatever weight it is, if it's small and achievable. By the end of the week, I want to make sure I'm consistently drinking enough water. By the end of the week, I want to make sure I'm doing this and that. And start making small, achievable goals rather than one big goal that you need to achieve that's going to completely overwhelm you and you're not going to get anywhere because it's so overwhelming. So if you start making these little goals, over time, you'll eventually get to your goal of losing 30 kilos if that's your goal. My next mindset tip is to stop waiting for the moment that it doesn't work and start looking at the long game. Know that this is going to take time and your weight is going to fluctuate. And when it does go up, because it will go up at some point and it will come back down, but it will go up at some point. But when it does go up, stop thinking, oh, maybe weight loss surgery is the only thing that's going to work for me. Because weight loss surgery, yes, it works. You will lose weight, but you will plateau. And I know this because I've worked with many clients on their weight loss journey who have had weight loss surgery and they've cut out half their stomach and then they've plateaued and they still have over 20 kilos plus to lose. And guess what happens once that happens? They now need to start working on their diet and lifestyle, because the weight loss surgery will only get you so far if you haven't worked on the diet and lifestyle aspect to it as well. Pretty much what the weight loss surgery does is once it cuts out half your stomach, you just don't feel as hungry. So you have to eat smaller portions. But if you're not still working on emotional eating and binge eating, you're still going to end up struggling with your weight because you haven't learnt how to balance your eating and balance your lifestyle to achieve your goals. So my point is, stop waiting for the moment that it doesn't work and start just committing to it, and just commit to eating better and commit to moving your body, because it does work and you will lose weight if you continue on. If you give up after a week because, oh, my weight went up, I just knew my body can't lose weight, you're never going to get anywhere. But if you're just looking at the long haul and knowing eventually your weight will come down, even if it does fluctuate, you will get there. There is no other option. If you keep going, there's no other option for where your body's going to go. It's going to get to your goal if you don't give up on yourself. So please don't give up on yourself. You've got this. And I literally believe that every single one of my clients can get there. Why do I believe that? I assume that would be because I don't see all their past failures that have failed in the past for them. I see them where they are now, and I know that they can get to their goal if they commit and they keep on pushing forward, even through all the setbacks, even when they have massive struggles. Because when they see me, they tell me about their struggles and we move forward and we keep pushing forward. We don't give up on ourselves and we keep on going forward. So if this is you, and every time something happens and you have too much food or you have a binge and you just keep feeding yourself self-talk that things don't work for you, you're never going to get there. An example of this with my clients that do really well is they're not like, oh, if I get to my goal or if this doesn't work, they're like, so when I get to my goal, what do I do with my eating? Or when I get there, what should I do with my exercise? It's never an if, it's a when, because they know they will get there. And I think a part of that is because they have such a clear plan moving forward that they know that they'll get there. They're just going to put in the time, put in the effort, and it will happen. They're not like if this, if that. It's when it happens. And you need to change your mindset to that too. Not if it fails or if it works, it's when it works. This is why also it would be important for you to work with someone that can help work you through it. It's hard to do it alone. You can do it alone, but it is a lot harder and it will probably take you a longer time for you to figure it out and try and figure out how to get there. But when you're working with someone that knows how you should be losing weight and how to make it as easy as seamless as possible, it will be as easy as seamless as possible. So that is my recommendation for your mindset today. If you take anything out of this episode, it's pretty much to believe that it's going to happen and believe in yourself even when you don't believe it. Keep positive talking to yourself so that eventually your subconscious mind will rewire to want to be healthy and want to eat well and want to feel good, and then their habits will follow. Just keep on working on your mindset and keep on being positive and talking positively to yourself. So I hope you found this episode helpful. If you did, please leave me a positive review online. That would mean a lot to me. Please share with a friend if you think a friend would find this helpful. If you're interested in working with me, you know where to find me. Instagram at nutrition_by Samantha. Send me a DM and you can see my website from there too. So this was a short episode, but I feel like I got a lot into the short episodes so that you can get a lot out of it. So I hope you found this helpful. And I will see you next Thursday or in the masterclass on Monday. Don't forget about the masterclass. The details are in the show notes. Click there to sign up, join the Facebook group, and then you will get access to it. And I know you're going to take so much out of it. So I hope to see you in there too. Have a lovely week, day, night, weekend, and I will see you next Thursday. Bye.